what, my name is Pat Cottenham, and I'm with Student Affairs. I know that we have some of this weather stuff going on outside, but our reason for being here today is so, bright and so wonderful. So we welcome all of you here today. I can't help but sort of stand here and see the buildings that surround us and those that aren't so far away, and think about my own experience as a first-time student 35 plus years ago. And I remember coming from a very small community, and I remember coming to the dorms, moving in my first summer after I graduated from high school, and I can remember the counselors greeting me. I can remember the dorm counselor's door decorated with flowers and butterflies and phone numbers and where to go for help, and it's an experience unlike any other. And so I know that I learned so much from living in the dorms. I met people that were like me, and I met people that were not like me. And I'm not embarrassed to say that I don't know if I knew very many international students before I came to school here. And so it just opens up a world of possibilities for students who live here. So the people that I met here are still my best friends today. And so living in the center of campus, you have everything that you need surrounding you. You have your classrooms, you have your library. It was called the infirmary then, but we had everything. We still call it that. We had everything that we needed. So this does not happen without leadership and vision, and so we certainly have our president, Dr. Savoy, to thank for so much of what we are experiencing today. But there are other people too that, because of their vision and because of their leadership, that we can be here today. So there are some people that we certainly want to recognize in the audience today. We can't mention everybody, but we certainly want to mention Vice President Raymond Blanco, and we want to thank him for everything that he's done. A very, very special person, Dr. Ray Audemars, our former president, for his leadership and for his vision and for understanding that this was the direction that we needed to go in. I also wanted to mention Dean Pratt. He's not able to be with us today. And we wanted to mention Dean McFall. And I know for the new students, they might not know these names, but these are very important people.
Yes.
And the Rose Garden that I don't know if we're going to get to with the weather today, but we were hoping for you guys to be able to see how beautiful it is. In 2002, we dedicated that Rose Garden in honor of Dean McFall. And so for those of you who know her, you know what a special lady is. You know everything she's done for students, and you know that her life and her presence here is a gift to our university. So she's not able to be with us today, but we certainly wish that she could be with us. And there are other people who worked in student affairs and in the Dean of Students office and housing. So I think Lisa may be the only housing director who's here. We invited other people, but she's the only person that's here. And so these housing directors had to be part of this vision also. We have some dorm counselors, because I can hear y'all amen back there, the things I'm saying. So I know that we have some dorm counselors, and raise your hands if you were a dorm counselor. And you know what? When I was in school, it was dorm counselor, then it changed to RA, the resident assistant, and now it's called CA, community assistant. So even though the name has changed, everything about the experience is still the same. So great to gather at a time like this, because we want to remember all of these memories. We also want to recognize a special person with us. Mr. Winfred Seville is the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System. Thank you so much for your support. I want to thank you so much for being here today. I think we're going to still do the tours. I think we're going to try to stay on program. I know that this, you have to admit that this is a beautiful occasion, and thank you all for the part that you played for us to be able to be here today. So thank you very much. I am going to now ask that our next people on program, Mr. Trahan, Dr. Savoy, and Mr. Perry, come up. So thank you so much for being here, and welcome.
I just found out a few days ago that I was going to be speaking. Fortunately for you guys, I'm not as long-winded as my father was. So, don't have quite the charisma in speaking that he does, although I'm not very shy. I just don't like this. However, I do want to thank you on behalf of Raging Cajun Facilities. I serve as vice president of our organization that has built these beautiful buildings. I got involved when my father passed away back in 2008. I was asked by Edward Pratt to get on board. It has been by far one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever come across, for two reasons. Number one, because I, like my father, love this university, and I wanted to see some of the things that he started come to fruition, which we've seen today. We have a lot more in the loop, so to speak, that are coming, so stay tuned. It's been a great ride. It's been wonderful to work with the Abilene University Development Group, the Juneau Construction Company, and the Lemoyne Company, as well as Architects Southwest. They have been tremendous partners to work with. I was telling Lisa and them earlier, I don't think I've ever been associated with companies that work quite like these guys do. They have done everything and anything that we've asked them to do from day one. When we laid out the timeline and they gave it to us, we looked at all each other in the room and we said, there's no way. And they have exceeded our expectations on every deadline throughout the project. To see it finished through this most recent building that we finished in August, that I still swore the week before would never be finished. And lo and behold, they must have worked all night, 24 hours a day, because they did an absolutely wonderful job. I had not been through the buildings prior to when we actually got up on the parking tower when all this was going on, when the first phase started. And we looked at it from up above, and that's the last time I'd been in the buildings. All of our stuff was behind the scenes. And so I had the honor, 2 weeks ago, my little niece is actually living in Baker. She's joined the UL soccer team as a freshman this year. And went up to her room, and I walked in and I was like, wow, this is way nicer than the building. Not quite what I was expecting, but it absolutely was beautiful. And so on behalf of Raging Cajun Facilities and all of the staff that we have on RCAF, I would like to thank all of our partners. Thank you for being here today, and I hope you enjoy your day, and I hope you take advantage like I did to see this facility. Thank you.
Pat started off telling some stories about her first coming to the university and staying in the dorm. I was a dorm counselor of Edward Pratt, and he Blanco to blame for that. One of the good things was, I think in preparation for the dorm counselor, I had the occasion of visiting the Dean of Students office on a regular occasion. It led to their familiarity and eventually led to the job. But I want to thank Dr. Odomall for having the vision to tear down McCullough and Voorhees where I live, so there wouldn't be any more evidence left. But enough of that. I want to thank all of you for joining us today at this beautiful corner of our campus. We're here to celebrate a very important development. These beautiful new residence halls that surround us are one way that we are continuing to improve the college experience for our students. The university has earned a reputation for its emphasis on serving students, and these halls help contribute to that. We now have 4 new residence halls, Corona and Bonan halls near the Rose Garden here, Baker and Huger halls on Taft Street. These construction projects, along with the renovation of Harris Hall on the corner, have increased our housing capacity by almost 40%. But we're not just adding living spaces, we're creating living and learning environments which will foster student success. The Rose Garden is home to 2 living learning communities. Students who are in our honors program live here, live in Corona Hall. They have classes together, they study together, they share common campus experiences. The same is true for our nursing students who are living together in Bonan Hall. Randolph, where we are, as you can see, has been renovated. It'll be a gathering spot. It has some classroom spaces. Buchanan will contain support services for this new community of residence halls. Studies show that a university's physical setting can contribute to student success, and so capital improvements like these are aimed at fostering more student engagement, both on campus and in the community. But we're not finished. We have a lot of work left to do. The university has developed a master plan which will guide us over the next several years and help shape the future of this campus and continue to build our community. These residence halls are the first phase of that plan, which is aimed at creating a campus village where people can live, work, play, and succeed. If you take a look around campus today, you'll see more signs of progress, even if it's a little messy right now. The expansion and renovation of the student union is underway. Students are funding that project. They saw a need and they cared enough about the campus and about its future students to invest in it. But that's really how it's always been here at the university. addressing today's needs, honoring the past, and building for the future. Now, I hope that you've noticed that while we are dedicating state-of-the-art residence halls, they look and feel like they belong here. We made sure that the architecture matched that of the historic campus. And while some buildings came down to make way for new ones, we are renovating and restoring others with historical significance. And we are carrying forward the names on the older buildings being replaced and placing them on the new ones. In this way, we honor our history by continuing to honor those who helped make our present possible. I'm very pleased to introduce a very special guest, which makes this point more relevant. Her family has been a part of the university since its very beginning. One of the new buildings carries the name of Corona Hall. It is named for Bruno Nathan Corona, a businessman and banker who moved to Lafayette in 1898, the same year our university was founded. He invested his own money and he helped to raise additional resources to help the fledgling campus get started. His daughter, Eula, was in our first graduating class. Eula's daughter is with us here today. Would you please help me welcome Jeanette Lucille Sonette Abramson Darden. Sonette graduated from SLI in 1941, a year after my mother. In fact, she and all four of her siblings graduated from Southwestern. Sonette's son, Jay, is currently Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, Jay Darden. We're grateful to the Corona family and very pleased to have Mrs. Darden with us here today and to honor your grandfather. Now, UL Lafayette is more than just a campus. It's a community of people who share experience, purpose, and pride, generation after generation, honoring our past and building for our future. Thank you for being a part of this ceremony today.
Nice to meet you. My name is Charles Perry. I'm the managing partner of Avenue University Development Group. We were the prime developers for all of the work that you see that is taking place in this area and on the campus recently. We are extremely honored to have a chance to be here on this great day of celebration and to join you on what a great day for UL. Personally, I don't think there's a higher calling, possibly with the exception of spreading the gospel, than making a huge contribution to the education of our young people in America today. And many of you in this room have heard me say from time to time that nothing, and I do mean nothing, makes a larger impact on a student than making a quantum leap in the quality of where they live. It changes everything about the campus to bring that population back in. You see people with a little more of a spring in their step, the living, learning community, the 24/7 presence. All of those contribute to overall campus life in a very positive way. Abilene University Development Group had a tremendous team of talented professionals to work with on this project. If you'll indulge the old man, I'm going to put on my reading glasses and make sure that I try not to leave anyone out. Our program managers, Carter, led by John Jokerst, but represented today by John Barefoot up against the wall there. Our architect on this project, Niles Bolton Associates, and Rowan Stewart, principal with that firm. The joint venture, GC, general contractors, between Juneau Construction Company and the Lemoyne Companies, Will Lemoyne, Michael Galasso, that is here today, and our master planners who put forth the plan that we followed on this development and subsequent phases that are still to come. Architect Southwest, Steve Wu. Now, this team of professionals, coupled with the UL team, are what brought us this ribbon cutting today. Dean Cottenham, with our great leadership, Bill Christ, Lisa Landry, Don Miller, Greg Durain, and our great friend Steve Oates. All of those working under the umbrella of President Savoy, Jerry Luke LeBlanc. I commend their courage and the commitment of the Raging Cajun Foundation and this leadership team, not only for moving forward with this project, but all the subsequent phases that are still to come. What great excitement is still out there for this campus. Get a chance, if you can, to take a look look at this master plan, it's absolutely extraordinary what is planned for this campus over the next decade or so. In closing, I have to recognize my project management, my Vice President of Project Management, Paul Morgan, and Ryan Bork, our Development Project Manager, who lived and breathed this project 24/7 from the very first day. We have a couple of mementos that I'm going to ask President Savoy to come up. I'm going to hand him one that will end up being posted and displayed in the foyer of the buildings. It's somewhat of a leave behind. It gives a little bit of a perspective historically with some before pictures and some after pictures. So, Jess, you will that's what let's make sure. Here we go. Okay, great. Thank you so much. This was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of fun. We look forward to working with you again very soon as we move forward together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us on this morning as we begin to open these brand new residence halls. My name is Jay Bell. I'm a senior here at the College of the Arts at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, concentrating in graphic design. I'm a former community assistant, leadership team member of the student orientation staff, and I've also done sole camp mentoring for 2 consecutive years. Those positions, I would say, come second to the ones that I currently have. I am currently the intern for marketing and graphic design for the housing office, and I'm also the president of the Residence Hall Association. I want to go off script a little bit and just tell you all that since I've been a freshman here, I'm now a senior, that I've always lived on campus and I've always loved it. My friends don't quite understand why, but I know that living on campus brings you closer to your university. It also gives you a better sense of why you're here. To get an academic degree and learn lifelong experiences that nothing else can bring you. So that's what I'm here to talk about today, these different residence halls that we have. The University of Louisiana at Lafayette was a small technical institute with a graduating class of 17 and a town with less than 3,000 people. But now, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette is known as the pride of Cajun country. The university holds strong with over 17,000 students, and the city of Lafayette is known nationwide as the cultural landmark of the South. As the university expands and continues to build strength, it is important for us all to be reminded of those individuals for whom these halls are named after. Because of these individuals and their accomplishments, UL Lafayette has risen to great heights of success, and the founders and figures that have helped bring this success and pave the way for students like myself to be able to obtain remarkable educations right here in Lafayette is incomparable. So, I'll begin with Harris Hall. Constructed in 1939 on the corner of McKinley Street and Boucher Street, Harris Hall's architecture made it one of the most remarkable buildings on campus. It is named after Mr. Thomas H. Harris, who was a former state superintendent of education and a former president of Louisiana's Teaching Association. He was an educator of national prominence and had a close relationship with University of Lafayette's president, Oletha Frazier. Baker and Hoosier Hall. Constructed in 1950, only yards away from where we are at this very moment, these 2 halls were very, very instrumental, named after Mrs. Elizabeth Falls Baker and Miss Emily Hamilton Hoosier. Mrs. Hoosier was the head of SLI's art department in 1930 when she was chief supervisory aide under the Surgeon General in Washington, D.C. Mrs. Baker was also a member of the university's first faculty in 1900. She was also the first matron of the girls' dormitory. Bonet Hall. Constructed in 1962, this hall is named after Mr. Elman Francis Bonet, a Louisiana state senator from St. Martinville. In 1960, he introduced the legislation authorizing the name change from Southwestern Louisiana Institute, SLI, to the University of Southwestern Louisiana, USL. Unfortunately, Mr. Bonet passed away in office that same year, shortly before the hall's completion. He lived for 56 outstanding years. Corona Hall. This building was originally constructed as a bookstore in 1957. When the current student union was built in 1971, the bookstore was moved to the union and Corona was converted into a multi-purpose building housing student cashiers, student government, and more. Corona Hall was named after Bruno Nathan Corona. He was one of the founders of the Louisiana Building and Loans Association, which was very instrumental in the establishment of the university in the city of Lafayette. Corona Hall is now a newly constructed residence hall. And finally, Randolph Hall. We've all had the pleasure of seeing this beautiful hall, and we will see more, which was built at the same time as Baker and Fuchsia halls. Its towering columns have been an architectural landmark for the university since its completion in 1950. It was named after Beverly Randolph Stevens, who was the wife of the university's first president, Dr. E.L. Stevens. She was a member of the first faculty at the turn of the century, teaching drawing and gymnastics. The hall was also named in honor of the couple's eldest daughter, Beverly Randolph Stevens. Carrying on these legacies is very important. Let us not forget our past and the people who have worked so hard to get us where we are today. These brand new facilities carry on their names so that future generations of students can look back and remember the greatness that came before them, so that they may strive to have an even greater impact on themselves, the university, and the city of Lafayette. In recognition of the legacy of service that those people have brought before us, we're inspired to inaugurate our first Residence Hall Association Scholarship Fund. We invite you all to come and make a difference in helping our resident students' ability to achieve their dream of a college education with the gift of a brand new scholarship. Scholarships change lives. This gift to a well-deserving Residence Hall student is an investment in not only our community, but also our future. I encourage you to pick up a form out on the front patio as we depart from here and become a part of a student's collegiate success. In closure, I would like to thank you all again so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, I'm Lisa Landry, for those of you who do not know me, and I'm the current Director of Housing, and I'm really excited to be able to stand here today and show you in a few minutes our beautiful new residence halls that we can offer to our students. It's great to see so many friends and family members here. You'll have to bear with me. You obviously do not get to a place like this today without having a whole bunch of people to thank. So please be patient with me as I try to mention everybody. 30 plus years ago, they dropped me off at Denbo Hall, and I started crying. I wanted to go back to Franklin. And my mother later told me in life that she was crying all the way back to Franklin as well. But you know, they knew that it was the best thing for me to stay here, to give me that opportunity to have a well-rounded education, not just what I was fixing to learn in the classroom, but that living on campus would make such a big difference in my life. Little did either one of them know how much that decision for them not to turn around and come and get me quickly would totally change my life. So first people I felt like I needed to thank and honor were them. Also, obviously, my husband Glenn, my daughter Stacy, and Luke. The last couple of years have been crazy. You know, I've missed some baseball games and some softball games, and we sure have eaten a whole lot of takeout. But you know, they've been very supportive and just as excited as I am to see all of this. My brother is also here, and he, just like Dr. Sadwell, I'm sure he's glad that some of the records around here for the residence halls are also going. So Dean Clark's shaking his head. Absolutely. The next thing I have to really mention, my Associate Director, Dawn Miller. Where's Dawn? She took off, probably knew I was fixing to talk about her. And my Assistant Director, Jules Bro, who made this journey very exciting and fun. And then to Michelle, Eileen, Gigi, Kyle, Tommy, Doug, Belinda, Bernetta, and my awesome hardworking housekeeping crew. You guys are an awesome team, and there's absolutely no way we could have made it through these last couple of years without your hard work and dedication. Dean Patricia Cottenham's patience and guidance has been so helpful to each and every one in my department. And then to all of my hardworking student maintenance crew who really run our entire operation. our student maintenance staff, our student desk workers, all of our student office staff. They're the ones that have made all of this possible too. The Office of Student Life and Conduct, although for those of you who are visiting back on our campus, it used to be called Student Personnel. They changed their name, now they're Student Life and Conduct. They will also worked right along with us so tirelessly on this journey. Greg Zerain, Carl Tapo, Dawn Broussard, Marcy Lewis, Nona and Mandy, thanks guys. Thanks go to Bill Christ and Joey Pons, Terry Jenkins, Mike Moe with the Facilities Management Department here at UL, and to Kent Young from Information Technology for keeping us focused and grounded, but still allowing us to dream just a little bit every now and then. To all of my student affairs colleagues who've listened to the ups and downs through this construction project, your words of wisdom have been so appreciated. Have to mention University Police for their daily challenges and all of their words of wisdom in keeping us focused. Dr. Young's weekly hugs, to Lucian, Justin, and Anthony Daniel for listening to me for the past 2 years every single solitary day. Thanks guys, love you all. So proud to be a member of what I feel, of course, is the most dedicated group of professionals on this campus, the Student Affairs team. Thanks guys. We're so grateful to Carter and Associates, John Jokers, John Barefoot, and Chip for their guidance through this process. Thank you to the Lemoyne Company and Juno Construction and Miles Bolton and Associates. Thanks to Troy, Michael, Matt, Jeff, and Mac, their dedication to providing quality halls and for realizing the importance of finishing this project on time. I don't know if they realized the importance or they were scared to hear me whine if it wasn't going to be ready in August, but for whatever reason, we really appreciate it. Thanks to Rowan Stewart for his patience with our university as we constantly made changes and had suggestions and added to our wish list. So Rowan, we thank you so much. Especially grateful for the opportunity that this project has provided us by working with the Ambling Development Group. Mr. Charles Perry, Greg Blaze, Paul Morgan. It has been a great experience working with each of you and all of the members of your awesome Ambling team. We are most grateful, though, to Ambling for sending us Ryan Bork. He has become part of our UL family in the last couple of years. Ryan quickly became more than a project manager. He was our peacemaker, he was our leader, our teacher, and of course he became our dear, dear friend. And I thank Dr. Savoy and Jerry Luc LeBlanc for having the courage in the midst of the state's challenges to see the importance of these projects and support them. I would like to thank the members of our Raging Cajun Corporation LLC board members who followed Mr. Robert Tronjon's lead because of Mr. Robert's passionate love of this university. I also must mention that this all started many years ago with big dreams from Dean Pratt and Dean Blanco and Dr. Audemont. Dean Pratt's persistence and vision and stamina inspired us to keep focused on our students and not give up on this important project. I have been lucky and I have been surrounded by many colleagues who have become lifelong friends, such as Susie Shea and Iris Ricardo and Dean McFall, Danny Cottenham, Jimmy Clark, Eugene Dahl, Judy Daniels, Dan Hare, David Como, Stuart Johnson, Connie Elmore, who have made this journey memorable, exciting, and fun. Here today are many former Residence Hall staff members and Residence Hall students who made living on campus such a life-changing experience for me and for so many others. Lastly, I'd like to recognize our current Residence Hall staff who work daily to change the lives of our students who live in our halls. May we continue to work together to provide the best living experience in these beautiful new halls for UL students for many, many years to come. Thanks, guys.
I don't think what I do is to cut it.